What's going on, everybody? We are back to our regular time of 6:30 with our bracket reveal, and as you can see, we have a guest host. Steph is in Wisconsin visiting family, and I got a good buddy of mine that I've known for years. Ryan Bassman joins us today, extraordinaire. We can talk a little bit about Ryan and his music ability. But Ryan, welcome. How you doing, buddy?
I thought we'd agreed on how he was going to introduce me.
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, good to see you. I agree with everything you said except the good buddy part.
Well, it's, trying to play nice here. Trying to play nice. For those that don't know, Ryan not only was the best man at my wedding, but also sang at my wedding. So there is no one that I wanted to get a hold of that knows music and likes music and will bring quite the entertaining value than Ryan. So thanks for joining, brother. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Although I do feel like singing on your wedding day was kind of like having rain on your wedding day. They say it's good luck, but it's not the most enjoyable thing.
Well, you were fine. And we all know what fine means. What
Hey, good is the enemy of great, they say.
So. That's right. So let's get started. We have lots of fun matchups going on. Ryan has no idea who won the matchups, so I'm anxious to kind of get this rolling a little bit. So let's go ahead and move to this screen. There we go. All right. So as we got to last week, we had some upsets, and we'll move forward a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and start right away with the city bracket. We have no montage today. We have some technical difficulties, is what happens when your IT director leaves to go to Wisconsin. But our first matchup with Boston versus John Denver, Whitney Houston versus Chicago. But let's start with the first one. Ryan, we got Boston versus John Denver. What is your take on this matchup, just to kind of get us rolling a little bit?
I mean, I had more than a feeling that Boston was going to take this, honestly.
Okay. Yeah, and that it's basically what you're saying is that John Denver is full of shit, man. So you just don't think.
I wasn't exactly rooting for John Denver. I can't help but do a little toe tapping when Thank God I'm a Country Boy comes on. But the truth is, there's rumors that he was an abuser and he had some trouble. So I'm going for Boston, even though I did grow up for a while in New York. So there's like that natural.
I was going to say, I'm surprised that. Well, I will tell you the percentages was 56-44. So it was close. And the winner of this matchup was Boston, 56-44 over John Denver, which I was very surprised. But with this matchup, I thought John Denver, he's trendy now. He's being played between quarters and football games and all this kind of stuff. But I think at the end of the day, Boston probably was the call.
But with your viewers, John Denver is cut out like someone took a saw to his marital bed.
That's right. And for those that get that reference, props to you on that.
Google it.
That's right. Google it, my young crunks. So if someone watches sports talk as much as I do, you will get that reference. All right. So Boston takes it with over John Denver. And now we hit an interesting matchup, which is Whitney Houston versus Chicago. And what's interesting is you have young Whitney Houston, pre-Bobby Brown. And then you have post Whitney Houston, and then Bobby Brown gets in the picture, and that changes things. Like,
whoa.
You're
gonna blame Bobby Brown? Oh man.
Yes, I'm blaming Bobby Brown. Watch the documentary, and then Chicago is interesting because you have like Chicago kind of early on Chicago, which is more like band and like all these different instruments and long songs, and then immediately gets more into kind of like Karate Kid type stuff with Peter Cetera. So, I mean, there's a lot of fun things to go with this one. Who do you like in this matchup?
I mean, I will always love you, Whitney, but Chicago brings back memories of like high school dances. I mean, Saturday in the park. I mean, I used to sing that to my son in Spanish just to mess with him. Sábado en el parque. Creo que estaba el 4 de julio. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what's funny is no one would know if that's accurate or not, but it sounds fantastic.
Close enough.
Right. Who do you think wins
It's my
this? You think
Spanglish.
Chicago?
I think Chicago.
Okay. I will tell you, it was a
Although
wide
Whitney
margin.
did win the hearts of many in the, what was it, the Star Spangled Banner in '96 Olympics, I think. Oof.
It was the Super Bowl, actually.
Oh,
Yes, the Buffalo Bills versus the Giants.
Won a lot of people over. I think a lot of people forgave her for the crack. After that.
Right after that. Yes,
Yeah.
that was the Scott Norwood push. I should not know that. All right, so 73-27 was the matchup. I know, just a good old fashioned ass kicking. And the winner was Chicago.
Oh,
yeah, gets it.
If you're keeping score at home, folks, that's 2 for 2 for the Cowboy Ryan.
That's right. That's 2 for 2 for Ryan, knocking that part out. So yeah, it's I'm a little surprised. Not that Chicago won, but I'm a little bit more surprised at like how big they won. Like that's a pretty big margin to go ahead and knock that out. So here is the matchup going into next week. You have Boston versus Chicago. Just old school rivalry there when you're talking about those two cities. Who do you like going forward?
Going forward, I still like Boston. I still like Boston to come out on top. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I've met whose name is Amanda, and I'll say, oh, were you named after the what do you call it? Song by someone else. And they'll say, oh, no, it's the Boston song. And of course, featured in the movie Career Opportunities back in the 90s or something like that. That kind of gave them a resurgence. I think Boston.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, politely, of course, disagree. I think Chicago takes this very slim margin. I just think I think when you're talking about Chicago, I mean, again, Boston's a little bit before my time, not much as I get older and older, but I feel like Chicago had more hits, like more recent. And when I say more recent, Jesus, we're talking about the 80s and 90s. So it's not exactly, recent, but I think it's close. It should be a fun matchup. Here's the bracket and just heavy hitters all the way through.
Wow. Yeah.
I think that, like I've said this before, I think this bracket is by far the toughest bracket out of all of them. I think any one of these last four probably could have won. And now we have Boston versus Chicago moving forward. And I do believe that either one of these two, whoever comes out of this bracket, has a really good chance to win the whole thing.
Do you think anyone's voting based on their knowledge of the actual city as opposed to the band and their music?
Possibly. Yeah.
If that was the case, I'd still be Boston.
Yeah. I think people with these songs, I think a lot of them are like, do they remember like a particular song? Like me and Steph talked about it last week, where it's like, you're not voting for a particular song, you're voting for the band. But let's be honest, most of the, every band will have a song that will like spark a memory. So if you have, like you talked about Chicago with like middle school, whatever, I always say like Chicago was always like late night before you went to bed, Delilah, just relax it on like 𝐂𝐫𝐬𝐧 or whatever. And you're just like, just go to sleep time. And they're like, that's what I remember. And so like whatever sparks your memory is what you're going to vote on. So like, I'm super interested to see like who wins this battle. So
I like the Delilah reference. I haven't heard that Delilah in a while.
Yeah,
great
you know it.
I always wanted some. I was always hoping to hear some long distance,
long distance dedication. Yes.
Yeah,
well,
sure.
Was long distance dedication? Was that Delilah or was that 𝐂𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐬?
Well, it was 𝐂𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐬𝐬, but Delilah, I feel like she gave relationship advice and was like, I'll play this song for you, Ryan. I know you're hurting out there, and here's hopes that
just the saddest letters of all time were written to Delilah.
No, they weren't all sad. Some were happy.
They were all sad. Yeah, I lost my leg, and now I can't. Jesus, it was ridiculous. All right, here we go. Now we're off to the states bracket. And bracket move, we got Alabama versus Kansas, Florida Georgia Line versus Florida, Battle of Florida. Here's our first matchup. We have Alabama versus Kansas. Fantastic college basketball matchup. Who do you have in this matchup, my friend?
This is difficult, but I don't usually go for the ones who are favored, but I went with Alabama, and I'll tell you why. And that is because I had a friend who used to sing
Oh, I knew you were going to bring
Play
this
me
up.
mountain music.
Yes, knew you were
And I
going to bring
mean,
that up.
the native New Yorker of Scottsdale was bowing at the Coach Stark feet after he would sing mountain music. Play me mountain music. So
Oh,
it's
that
special.
was so long ago.
Go
But
ahead.
yes,
Sing a little for the folks at
I will
home.
not. I did tell, just for the record, and might not tell the people that are joining. I did say for my 50th birthday party, which is ridiculously close to happening, that we can do karaoke. I haven't sang in probably 15 years. All right, Alabama versus Kansas.
Moving
Wait,
on.
no, definitely not singing tonight. Alabama versus Kansas. This was close, 53-47. So about as close as you could have it. Super tight matchup here on this one, and the winner was Alabama. Takes it in a very, very close one.
That is close.
Yeah, can't get much closer than that. And I think Alabama has a chance to win the whole thing as well.
Yeah, well,
I'm actually surprised it was that close.
I'm surprised it was that close also. I guess Kansas is just dust in the wind now.
That's right.
Rim shot.
That is.
I don't know where my drummer is.
It's
Drummer's on vacation.
You need the music machine there. All right, we got Florida Georgia line versus Florida, the Battle of Florida. Ironically, Florida Georgia line, excuse me, had to defeat Georgia Satellite last week, and now they have to basically defeat the other part of their name, which is Florida. I'm surprised. Steph had Florida. I had Florida Georgia line last week. We were talking about this. Who do you like in this matchup?
I like Florida.
Okay.
I mean, I can't do anything without thinking about apple bottom jeans and boots with the fur. I mean, it's just such a part of our culture now, I feel like.
Well, you're right. And so this goes back to that old thing that we're talking about, which is like, even if they're a one-hit wonder and he had more than one hit, but we all know that song. We all know who Shorty is. A lot of people do. And so Florida Georgia line had more, I guess, quote unquote hits, but Florida is they had that one massive hit. So I'm anxious to see who wins this one. It is, let's see, what was the matchup on this one? Ooh, just a good old fashioned ass kicking, 71-29. 71-29
for the winner.
It was Florida taking it to Florida Georgia line. Yeah,
Cinderella story.
That's right. It's in the hole. Florida just takes it, and again, is shocked at how big that one is. So Alabama versus Florida. This is an interesting matchup. For all the people in the South, they are loving this bracket at this point.
Yeah.
The big SEC matchup. Who do you like in this one?
That's the fight of the mosquitoes. It's got to be Alabama. There's no question in my mind. I think in the last 5 minutes, I've come to know your audience. I feel like I know how they're going to vote. It's going to be Alabama.
Yeah, it's interesting. Well, again, though, Florida they beat another country artist pretty handily. So I'm anxious to see. Yeah, again, I think Alabama wins, but I'm shocked that either there wasn't enough Florida, but again, they've gotten to this far, so people voted for them in the first round. So
what it is? It's their song that "This Is How We Roll." I don't think anyone likes it when you take a word and you break it out over 15 syllables. This is how we roll. Whoa. Right. Come on, no one's singing along to that. Come on,
we get it. We get it.
Roll on out of here, please.
Which is an Alabama song. So
roll on, 18-wheeler. I wanted to have a truck driving father just because of that song. I thought it sounded so cool.
I'm sure your dad's pleased with you.
I'm like, why you got to be a construction worker? Can't you drive big rigs or something?
Because of this. Yeah. So you can still learn the song. It's fine. So here's the bracket as we look at it: Alabama versus Florida for basically the states and countries bracket championship to move to the Final Four. We are in our Elite Eight. Moving into I've said this before. I think these are by far the two, toughest brackets moving forward. And now we get into more I wouldn't say easier, but definitely more eclectic when it comes to some of the music that is being played.
Yeah.
So here's our continents and outer space bracket. We have Earth, Wind, and Fire versus Europe and Freddie Mercury, which has been the debate going on this one. And so we're going to start with Earth, Wind, and Fire in Europe. And again, this goes back to Europe has that one iconic Final Countdown song. Is that enough to upend Earth, Wind, and Fire? Who do you like in this one?
It's I mean, by far the better band is Earth, Wind, and Fire, but you're right. It's the Final Countdown is like played everywhere, stuck in your head, everything. Every time you think about, I got 2 more hours left in a workday. It's the final count, yeah.
It's great.
Sure. Yeah. But I don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough to take care of 3 elements, essentially: Earth, Wind, Fire. We just need smell and touch, and I don't know. But I think they win.
I think so too. Earth, Wind, and Fire. The matchup, 71-29, same as Florida. So lots of people agreed with Ryan Bassman again, where Earth, Wind, and Fire takes down Europe. But see, you talk about, the Final Countdown, which I agreed with, but then you look at Earth, Wind, and Fire, and like whenever September rolls around, you always hear that song. So that's played every year. Same time every year, so you're always hearing. So obviously, they're still getting play on all kinds of social media and stuff like that moving forward. And
I've heard of people whose birthdays were on September 20th, and they have people ask them, "Don't you wish you were born one day later for that song?" No, not that important. I do know someone whose birthday is on that song. As a matter of fact, Abby Normal? No. I know someone whose birthday is on that day.
Oh, seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That song is like I said, that song is fantastic. And the fact that it's played every year is kind of fun. And now we get to an interesting matchup, which we have Freddie Mercury versus Bruno Mars. And again, we've talked about it. We've talked about it. Is it Freddie Mercury solo act, or is it Queen? Is it Freddie Mercury and Queen? And so now we're trying to figure out, which one is which. So,
yeah.
Who do you like in this?
So it's funny because you introduced me as someone who knows something about music. I didn't even know Freddie Mercury had a solo career before you said that.
One album. Yeah, one album.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm going to go a little bit off the rails here because I didn't even base this on their music as much as how many Weird Al Yankovic parodies have been made from their music. And it's clear the leader is Freddie Mercury. I mean, Another One Rides the Bus got Weird Al his start, and he's near and dear to my heart.
Is that his first song?
That was his first song that he played live on I think it's the Dr. Demento show, and he had a guy banging on a box, and they sang that song, and it was history. Yeah,
I did not know that.
So I went with Freddie Mercury in this matchup, but it wasn't for the reasons that anyone sane would think. So yeah.
Right, but yes, and just the Dr. Demento show is a great obscure reference. That's fantastic. We have Bruno Mars versus Freddie Mercury. This matchup, again, 71-29, which is really, really, really surprising.
Freddie.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh.
Bruno Mars takes down Freddie Mercury.
Wow. I heard the peanut gallery cheering behind me somehow.
Yeah, Bruno Mars takes it down. And a little bit surprised by that, not, obviously. But again, I think if it was Queen versus Bruno Mars, it's a whole different ballgame. I think it's not even close. But again, though, we have that same situation with like the E Street Band moving forward to the next bracket. Like, are they together? Are they not? It's a little bit confusing, a little bit. But yeah, big win by Bruno Mars.
I mean, I'm betting that Freddie Mercury right now, God rest his soul, is looking down, feeling like he's been locked out of heaven for not being able to continue on in this bracket. Really?
Yes. Definitely,
Sure.
Bruno Mars. All right. You agreed with the masses. You agree with the masses.
There's still life on Mars. Yeah.
Yes. All right. Here we go. Next matchup we have. Oh, sorry. Not the next matchup. The next matchup for next week. We have Earth, Wind, and Fire versus Bruno Mars. The Battle of the Planets. I gotta say, Earth, Wind, and Fire. What do you think here?
Yeah, there's no question about it. I can't believe Bruno Mars was seated second. I mean, he should be thanking his lucky Mars moons. I don't even know that Earth, Wind, and Fire in a landslide.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I think by far this is the easiest bracket as well. But we're gonna get into potpourri, which is just a hodgepodge of all kinds of different types of music. But yeah, I think Bruno Mars is really lucky to be in this bracket. I don't think he makes it this far in other brackets, but I think his reign comes to an end. I think Earth, Wind, and Fire takes it. And now we get to the final bracket, and here's the continent bracket moving forward. Our final bracket, which is potpourri, always my favorite category in Jeopardy. And now we've always brought it to our brackets.
That's because it's the only one you know any answers in.
Well, that in 90s sports. But just if you look at the seeding, like you talked about, Bruno Mars should not have been a 2 seed, but he did. I mean, at the end of the day, he's gotten to the finals of that bracket. Look at this craziness. The 1, the 2 seed are both gone. 4 seeds gone. So it's all over the place. Now, should the E Street Band featuring Bruce Springsteen been an 8 seed? Probably not. And Little River Band probably not as well. But this is where we're at. So here we go. E Street Band featuring Bruce Springsteen, as I always say, versus the Backstreet Boys. This was shockingly close. Like this was 56 to 44. And I honestly did not think it would be this close. Who do you like in this matchup, my friend?
Well, only because I'm convinced that Steven Van Zandt is an actual gangster who's a member of the E Street Band and played a role in Sopranos. I'm going to go with E Street Band. No, I can't do it. I got to follow my heart, and I got to say Backstreet is back next week to fight another day. That's
unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Right. Do you think E Street Band is going to take this? I do, James. I absolutely do. I think they are going to take it. It's Bruce. My God, it's Bruce.
But it doesn't say Bruce. It says E Street Band, and I think people are like, eh.
I know, and that's part of the issue that you're dealing with. So 56 to 44.
Close.
The Backstreet Boys.
All right.
That's unbelievable.
All right. That's what I figured.
That is unbelievable. I'm shocked by that. I frankly can't believe that happened. I love all the people that voted. I question all of you, but I love you all. Just remember, if you ever need to buy or sell a home, I'm your guy. But I am shocked by your knowledge of what's going on here. Holy crow. I am surprised by this. My wife, who is taking my son to his drumming band rehearsal or practice, is really pissed off right now. So I don't even want to deal with that. All right. Let's
recount.
let's keep it appropriate here. All right. So,
someone stuffed the ballot boxes. All right.
Oh my God, I know, James. I am with you on this one. And you have no one to blame if you have no one to blame but your own son, because he's the one. James, he's the one that did, son-in-law. He's the one that counted it.
That's who I blame.
Oh my gosh, I am ridiculously shocked by that. All right, moving forward, I feel like we can continue to stay on that. Bay City Rollers versus the Little River Band. I've said this before. Bay City Rollers. I know one song of theirs, but God bless it. Time Life Music made me love that stupid song. And Little River Band. I got to be honest, I didn't know a lot of their music, but hey, they're rolling. They're into the semis of this bracket. Who do you like?
So it's interesting you said the thing about Little River Band not knowing a lot, because I feel like they're the band where you go, oh my gosh, I love this song. Who does this? Little River Band. You're like, what? You're kidding me.
Yeah.
Bay City Rollers, I know the same song you do, not from Time Life Music Collection, but from So I Married an Axe Murderer with Mike Myers. because it was his father's favorite band. Because if it ain't Scottish, it's crap. And Bay City Rollers are, of course, a Scottish band who sing Saturday Night. But I truly feel that the Little River Band wins out because I think they have a ton of hits. Just a ton.
I agree. James, I don't want you to sign off, but but I can't manipulate the system here. But I will tell you, in this matchup, there's ass kickings, and then there's what happened in this matchup, and this was 82-18. So not even close. James, you get to stick around for a little bit longer, my friend. Little River Band destroys the Bay City Rollers, and on to the next matchup.
Washes them off the banks and takes them away.
Right. So we have Backstreet Boys versus the Little River Band. I'm gonna have to go with Backstreet Boys losing to Little River Band. You
tricked me. I thought you were gonna vote for it.
Well, trying to switch it up a little bit. Yeah, I just can't.
You're a regular Slovak over there.
I can't imagine Backstreet Boys getting through this. I'm shocked that they're even this far. But anyway, they're here, and as I say before, if you don't like it, vote, because that's how you change it.
Right.
So Backstreet Boys versus Little River Band.
I'm going Little River Band.
Are you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, I love the Backstreet Boys. I think they have some great, foot tapping stuff, but Little River Band is just, I don't know, they're classic. They got tons of hits. I think they win.
Did you just say that the Backstreet Boys has some toe tapping stuff?
I get to wiggling, the backside when some of that stuff comes out. I'm like, yeah, that's a good jam.
Okay. I never heard of the Backstreet Boys just toe tapping, but it's a new day. It's a new day, my friend.
That's right. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
This is a no judging zone. So we have the Backstreet versus Little Bit 5 versus 7. Just a complete. This is what potpourri should be. Just a hodgepodge, craziness moving forward.
Cornucopia.
That's right. And so here's our bracket, just looking beautiful now. All right, let's get our final kind of predictions for the final four moving forward.
Right.
Boston versus Houston. Who do you got?
Boston versus Chicago, you mean? Boston versus Chicago.
Boston versus Chicago.
I'm going Chicago.
Yeah, I'm with you. You changed it. You were Boston before.
Well, I like Boston as a town better than Chicago. I mean, they're both lovely. I have a cousin in Chicago. What up, Adrian? But I like Boston as a town. I think Chicago will take it.
Okay. Alabama versus Flow Rider.
Alabama. Yeah. Hands down.
But I think it's super close. I think that one's
well, no way.
No, it'll
be 70-30.
Yeah, James, I'm with you, and that's why I said before the cities bracket. You could make the argument. It's just you kind of got screwed in that one if you're in that one.
James, get off the fence and make a decision, buddy. Come on.
All right, Earth, Wind, and Fire versus Bruno Mars.
I'm saying Earth, Wind, and Fire, 100%.
I agree. And last but not least, Backstreet Boys versus Little River Band.
I think it's going to go to the cards. I think it's going to be a draw. No, Little River Band. I think I'm going to get hate mail about my love of Backstreet Boys is what I think.
I will. Well, you should. But I think Little River Band takes it. And it should be a great matchup. I want to go ahead real quick and let the people know. And we will put this also, I'll put this in the chat as well. But let's move over to the screen. All right, so you can vote at this point. Voting is open. So as you can see, just go to CoachDarkHomes.com. Go to right to the middle of the screen. Let's go back to here. Just scroll down just a little bit. Go ahead and click on the summer bracket now. and you can go right to it. I'll also put this link in the chat if you want to. We'll also go ahead and we'll be tweeting this out. We'll be putting it on there. So please send it out, share it. Let's have a little bit of fun. Let's try to get the most votes we can. There is the link. Moving forward, what do we got here? James, what was your last one? Backstreet Boys. I agree. Look at Little River Band. That is our biggest Little River Band fan moving forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go ahead and hop on there.
He's a big Little River Band fan. He's a big
That's
Little
right.
River Band fan. Yeah.
That's right. So go ahead and vote. We don't have very much anymore. We just have 4 that you can vote for. So remember, just go ahead and click over and then vote. Do whatever you want to do. Let's try to get the most votes we possibly can. So share it, get it out to people. Let's see what we can do. We're going to put it on Twitter, Instagram, obviously the website. Do what you got to do. Brother, it was super fun. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed having you on here. It's been a long time just catching up lately, and then having you on here has been super fun.
I appreciate it greatly. And everyone, while you're on that website, CoachStarCombs.com, make sure you go to the contact us and throw the votes for me to come back and co-host another show. I mean, why not?
Yes.
I know. I mean, I don't want to crash your servers, Chris, but make your voices heard, people. Vote for Little River Band, James, and for Cowboy Ryan.
That's right. And you never know. We might bring you on with Steph and the 3 of us do the final reveal. That'd be kind of fun as well.
I thought I had a 3-episode deal. What is wrong with our negotiations?
Your agent is not good. Ryan, appreciate it, my friend. Have yourself a wonderful. Oh, hold on. We got what did James? Well, I'm quite first. Yes. Oh, look at that. You got a fan, Ryan. Even though James is obviously partial to Stephanie.
James, DM me. We'll listen to some Backstreet Boys. It'll be a good time.
Bring back Stephanie. Oh, she made it. She made it.
She's not on vacation.
Look at her. As soon as she gets threatened, she comes on and immediately.
Yeah, she's like, what? My position is in jeopardy?
Who's this asshole? I'm coming on and I'm commenting.
Coming for you.
Thanks for all that watched. I appreciate it. Have yourself a wonderful night. Ryan, thanks for everything, brother. Be safe.
Buddy. Bye-bye, all.